And we are here for the afternoon coffee talk. Of course, we are going to get into a bit of weather coverage this afternoon as strong storms are starting to pop up and will continue over the course of the next few hours' time. Here's a live look toward the south from our downtown Orlando tower cam, and very clearly you can see a nice swath of rain sitting right in the vicinity. Yeah, we have a severe thunderstorm watch posted for Central Florida. That is going to run until 8 o'clock tonight. A severe thunderstorm watch. Think of it like we're watching for severe storms. Think of it like, you're a cook. A watch means you've got all your ingredients out. A warning means we're making things, okay? So that's a severe thunderstorm watch. Notice all of Central Florida under that severe thunderstorm watch, okay? That said, let's get right over to our first warning Doppler radar, and we are tracking a severe thunderstorm warned cell. This cell is in Osceola County. Let's just zoom in. That severe thunderstorm warning runs until 3:45, and we're using our Melbourne radar just for this view. We'll switch over to our live radar because I have spent the last hour tweaking our live radar. That severe thunderstorm warning runs until 3:45 right up to the Brevard County coast. Let's lose that box. We'll switch over to our live radar. There is that cell. As it continues to move off toward the east, we're going to be talking about the threat of this storm system working over toward Lake Washington, from Cocoa Beach to Satellite Beach to Melbourne, back over to Palm Bay. There is a lot of very heavy rain here, but there is also the threat of large hail. And I think that the hail is going to be something that we are going to be concerned with over the course of this entire afternoon and evening, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? There's our live radar, and we'll zoom in. It's in some fairly rural territory over 192, some decent lightning strikes there. This is going to be continuing to move off toward the east. So based on that, let's put a storm track on this cell as it continues that march off toward the east. And I'm just going to say, if it carries its current forward progression, this is a look at the timeline, all right? Rockledge at 4:14. Merritt Island, 4:23. Melbourne at 4:38. And Satellite Beach at 4:43. We have declared today a first warning weather day. Why? Because these storms are not only going to continue to fire up, but have the potential to get pretty strong, okay? And it's because of that you have live team coverage on the air tonight. Chief Meteorologist Tony Minolfi and Meteorologist Cam Tran are going to be tracking this. All right, back off to the north. We're also watching some very heavy rain, and I've got to tell you, these storms that are now firing up in the metro are looking pretty potent. I just wanted to compare. Okay, I want to compare our radar. So that's our radar. That's the Melbourne radar. I always like to do that because with our radar, I'm calibrating it constantly. And so I want to make sure that things are looking good. Let me just take a look. There is big wind energy down here just south of town as that live radar sweeping through. What you're seeing here over the SeaWorld area, that's just range folding. We switch over to the radar over at the Orlando International. Okay. All right. So what are we looking at here? I mean, just in looking at that our live radar indicating 47 mile per hour winds on the south side near Williamsburg. Okay. So this, while it's not yet to severe criteria, that is a very powerful storm. I want to look. It looks like we're almost trying to build in a little bit of an inflow notch, but lots of kind of shear in this area. Very, very heavy rainfall from Meadow Woods back through Hunters Creek. There's Lee Vista. Okay, that's Jeff Fuqua. So that right there, that is the Orlando International Airport, kind of working off toward the east-northeast. Very heavy rain. And I could tell you, without even looking, and what's interesting is I've not gotten a notification from the Orlando International Airport that they're on a delay program, okay? But if we look at the live shot of the big board, I've got to believe, that the delays are starting to build. That just makes sense. Interesting that the FAA, with this storm kind of having fired up right over south of town, I'm interested as to why that hasn't really gotten going in the delay program. But nevertheless, big winds, okay? That's range folding, but that's an interesting little piece of velocity there. We'll have to wait and see how this is, but look at that right over Orange Avenue, just north of Taft, Vineland Road, right in there. Again, that red, that's range folding. That's just the radar kind of not having an idea, but 54 mile per hour winds. That's decent winds. There's the turnpike. There's the 528. So again, we're on the south side of the beach line, south side of the Florida Mall. But that's our live radar pinging that 54 mile per hour wind. Very intense rain. New live sweep coming through. Still hitting something there. That's the Orlando International Airport. That's Melbourne. Yeah, so definitely seeing a pretty consistent... let me just back this up. You can kind of watch how it's firing up and lifting to the north. Yeah, so that's range folding, but very, very heavy rain. Off to the south around Meadowwoods. Could that be an inflow notch trying to develop? I hope not, but certainly something that we're watching very, very closely. Okay, let me just look at our radar's velocity. Okay, so no, it looks like most of the wind is up there. Further to the north up toward Lee Vista. On the north side there of the 528, some pretty good winds here. What's our live radar pinging? Right around Lee Vista, 25, 29, getting into the 30 mile per hour range. So very good strengthening winds. Our live radar sweep coming through. We'll see what we ping there. Looks like it's kind of in that same element. All right, range folding down here. The radar has been able to figure it out. Thankfully, not indicating any rotation down there. Further to the north into downtown Orlando. Starting to see a nice heavy cell right over downtown. Our Doppler surveying this beautifully from 1792, from about Maitland and Fairview Shores, clear down to Holden Heights. Very intense rain, and then back off to the west, there's Pine Hills. You can see some very heavy rainfall. Doppler radar, again, thankfully not showing any rotation or anything like that. But this is our WESH radar. The advantage to having our live radar, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I've spent the last little bit working with Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi, really trying to dial down. That's what the Weather Service radar looks like. It's not as high resolution. And with our radar, we can get and tweak it to give us the exact pieces of data we want. And we get that data coming in every single minute. So it looks like a hail core trying to fire up down here around Meadow Woods. Certainly looks that way to me. And then again, in addition to that, you've got the winds kind of getting up into that 40 mile per hour range. The biggest concern that we have had today, if I'm honest with you, we knew that wind was going to be a concern, okay? All of the threats that we've been tracking, winds and hail. And we've been seeing that already, okay? So that's what we're looking at for the biggest concerns. We come back over to our first warning Doppler radar. And let me just take a look at the wider perspective. That's the Melbourne radar, yeah. So that's where we are. Again, we're in severe weather mode on our radar, which is a good thing. When you get severe weather, it allows us to kind of control things. Potent stuff starting to get going over Orange County. I would not be surprised if the Weather Service didn't go ahead and warn on this cell. Yeah, there's the Melbourne radar. There's our radar. You see how there's much more definition. It kind of cuts through it a little differently. It's because we're able to fine tune. The Weather Service has to fit into VCP patterns. All right. So that's what we're looking at, my friends. Through this evening, what are we looking at? These showers, these thunder showers, they're going to develop over the metro and then gradually work off to the east over these next few hours' time, okay? All right, so what's ahead? We've got the threat for strong to severe storms over these next few hours. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi and Meteorologist Cam Tran will be tracking it on TV, and I'll be posting on the social media channels for you. Let me lapse this data for you, okay? You can see those storms firing up kind of really within the last few moments' time over the metro area. It is nasty, nasty. Stay tuned to WESH 2. Both on air and online. We'll keep you up to date, all right? All right, you got about 20 minutes until WESH 2 News at 4. Full coverage there.